And we continue at 1:05 in the afternoon on the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wangs in Culver City.
John, the Taggart Towers in downtown L.A. is so 2025. Where are all the destructive kids committing their acts of vandalism in 2026? The abandoned Westminster Mall.
You know, that's the mall that my mom used to take me to when I was a toddler.
Apparently, it's a war zone inside right now.
It was a war zone back then, too. Hell of a movie theater, though. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. It is our pleasure to welcome our next guest to the program. She is with the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association, and she's going to be appearing with us in the San Fernando Valley this Friday, Randy, at Pineapple Hill.
We're going to be there this Friday from noon to 3 at Pineapple Hill in Sherman Oaks, so join us as we're there with Susan Shelley.
She is also a columnist for the Southern California News Group and host of the Howard Jarvis radio show, which airs tonight on KABC in Los Angeles, KSFO in the Bay Area. You can follow her on X at Susan_Shelley. Susan Shelley, welcome.
Thank you so much. Great to be with you.
So, as I mentioned before, we're going to be in Sherman Oaks on Friday talking about your efforts and the efforts of the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association to protect Prop 13. Can you give the audience a preview of just exactly what it is that you're doing and what you're asking them to do?
Absolutely. Well, Prop 13 is very famous. It was passed in 1978. It has kept property taxes from skyrocketing while you own your property. It caps the amount of increase. But it also has other protections in it that make it harder to raise other taxes, because Howard Jarvis knew that if he capped property tax growth, that's what was going to happen. So there are certain requirements, like a special tax needs a 2/3 vote of the local voters in order to pass. Well, the courts are erasing these protections. And the worst thing they've done is create this loophole where special interest groups can write their own tax increase, collect signatures to put it on the ballot, and then they don't have to meet the 2/3 requirement. They can direct all the money to themselves, and they can pass the tax without meeting the constitutional requirement because, you ready for this? It's a citizens' initiative to raise taxes. So these citizens groups, which are all special interests, taking all the money themselves, are writing their own tax increases. And you're going to be seeing this on the ballot again and again. We are closing that loophole with this initiative. We are saying it needs a 2/3 vote no matter what, no matter how it gets on the ballot. And also we're closing a loophole that has allowed real estate transfer taxes, which Prop 13 prohibited, but the courts have allowed. And these are like sales taxes on real estate. And it's another way of taking your money as if the Prop 13 tax savings was only temporary, and they're going to take it all back when you sell. We're closing that loophole, too, and we are sunsetting all of those excessive real estate transfer taxes.
And what you're doing is asking people to sign the petition, and you can do that in person on Friday, or you can print it out at home, sign it, get your friends, get your family, provided they're registered voters in the state of California, to sign the petition, mail it to you guys, and we can get this thing on the ballot.
Exactly. It's very easy. You just go to saveprop13.com. All the information is there. You can print the petition at home, or we will mail it to you, and you just fill it out, sign it, mail it back. But the deadline is coming up fast. We're just about at the end. We need these all back by February 17th in our Sacramento office. The address is right on the petition. You can mail them back. But we need 1 million signatures by February 17th to get this on the November ballot.
And we'll see you out there in the San Fernando Valley on Friday so you can sign the petition in person and watch us live. All right, let's shift gears here for a second and talk about the billionaire wealth confiscation tax that the SEIU is now pushing here in the state of California. This thing has not yet qualified for the ballot, let alone passed by the voters. But the billionaires have indicated that they have no faith, not only in California electeds to defeat this thing, they have no faith in the California electorate. And they are packing up their things and they are moving out of state, proving that they have established residency in places other than the state of California. Gavin Newsom has indicated that he is against this initiative, although he is not spending his political capital fighting it. He's still going after Donald Trump on social media, appearing on the national podcast, national television shows, talking about national issues instead of taking head on something that could destroy the finances of his state. As Susan, some estimates indicate that over $1 trillion of wealth has already exited the state of California, which will not only impact how many jobs are available here, because many of them are taking their businesses with them, but how many dollars are going to end up going to Sacramento, not just in taxes, should this one pass, in the wealth confiscation arena, but also in income tax and capital gains tax and other taxes that these people pay on a regular basis. That money is gone and could blow our budget before this thing even passes. What do you make of what's going on here, and what do you make of Gavin Newsom's tepid response so far?
Well, it looks to me like they're all negotiating for some other kind of tax. I think what happens here, when did the law change? About 2014, I think. The legislature changed the law so that proponents of an initiative could qualify it for the ballot and then pull it off the ballot after a negotiation with the legislature for something else that they want. And my guess is that that's what's happening here. But they have overreached by this ridiculous proposal for a 5% confiscation of everything people have, which obviously if they ever enacted it, this is an entirely new kind of tax, and it would come straight down to the middle class in 5 years, because that's where the money is. The money is in the equity of your home. And if they can call that wealth and take 5% of it every year as sort of an income tax, not a property tax, well, people are going to be driven right out of the state, as these billionaires already are. So my guess is that the reason no one in the legislature denounced this proposal, which they could have done, and the reason that Gavin Newsom has been tepid, is because they're in the middle of conversations about who they're really going to tax and what they're really going to pay these SEIU health workers and all the rest of the things that they can negotiate in Sacramento and pass with just a 2/3 vote without putting it on the ballot at all. That's what I think is happening.
If you're a governor that's fully engaged and you are someone who has the power to appoint judges, that has the power to appoint people to boards and commissions, the power to sign or veto legislation, in theory, you have a lot of power in that office. You're in charge of the executive branch of state government. And a group like the SEIU coming up with something that could potentially irreparably harm the finances of the state that the governor oversees, and certainly could cause and did cause $1 trillion of wealth to move out of the state over the course of 30 days. That is something that I would take as a very aggressive posture if I were governor of California. I would look at this as someone trying to put a gun to my head and forcing me to do something that I didn't want to do, and I would find ways to punish that group. But it seems like Gavin Newsom is not looking at this from the point of view of a governor of California who's just been extorted by someone who claims to be an ally. He looks at this as a political problem for his run for the presidency. And he wants to make sure that he doesn't start out as a candidate for the presidency with heat with the SEIU, because he wants their endorsement, he wants their support. But given the fact that they're playing with such a heavy hand, it seems like by not going after the SEIU more aggressively, what he could do is he could forfeit all of the money, all of those dollars from Silicon Valley that have financed his campaigns time and time and time again. I would imagine that after he allowed this to happen in his state, that many of those dollars are going to find their way to other candidates in the Democratic primary, maybe in the Republican primary, candidates not named Gavin Newsom. I look at this as a problem for Gavin Newsom in his quest for the White House based on how he handled this.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. That's a tough choice for him, isn't it? Which tech billionaires are going to be with him or against him based on this? And does that counterbalance what he'll lose from union support? But the trouble for the people of California is that the price for this is being paid by all of us. The budget proposal was just released last Friday, and the finance director for the governor said that 1% of earners in California pay 45% of the personal income tax. And if those people leave, it will hit the Treasury. And then how do they pay for all of this increased spending? Governor Newsom's budget projects that revenue will increase. Well, the Legislative Analyst's Office doesn't think so. They think revenue will decline. But the spending in the proposed budget increases from something like $321 billion a year to $349 billion a year on the belief that there will be more revenue. This proposal means there will be less revenue, even if it never gets to the ballot, because they're already leaving. So the people of California will pay for this in higher taxes somewhere else or reduced services, because that's the inevitable consequence of driving the wealth creators out of the state.
How much sympathy do you have for these billionaires? And I say that because as someone who follows California politics closely as you do, you know that many of these same people finance the campaigns of the people who are now harming them. Members of the legislature, the statewide constitutional office holders, people in Washington, D.C. In California, it's a one-party state, so if you want to curry any favor with the party in power, you have to whip out the checkbook. When in reality, if they want to live in the state that they have owned a home in, I assume their children are being educated in, a place where they have built their business in, then it would help them out by leaps and bounds to have organizations like yours that are fully funded so they can fight these things and kill these things before they ever come close to the ballot, allies in the legislature, well-funded candidates for statewide office. These people have the power to do that with the snap of the finger. But instead of doing that, and instead of making sure that these organizations are professionalized and they are credible and they can go out and have a platform to make the arguments that would make life better, not just for these billionaires, but for the rest of us, instead of financing those entities that could make life better for them and the people of California, they've decided to just write the checks to the people who are destroying the state because that's what makes life easy for them. And now they want our sympathy.
Well, that's a very good point. The Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association is all set up and can accept unlimited donations for a ballot measure committee. Ballot measure committees do not have limits on donations. And if the billionaires genuinely want a fight on their behalf for property rights, because that's what we believe in. It's not a question of how much property, it's a question of property rights. Whatever you have, it's yours. And if you earned it legally, it's yours. And that is an incentive in a free society for invention and innovation and hard work. That's what brings prosperity for everyone, is when people have an incentive to try and solve problems for money. That's capitalism. It's a free economy. It's what happens when you don't do anything to stop it. It's a free economy. And that's what we fight for at the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association. So if it is not too late for people to support these efforts and other efforts, they don't have to go set something up from scratch. They can jump in and make a stand here in California. Cancel the U-Haul and stay and fight.
We're speaking with Susan Shelley of the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association. Susan, let's shift gears here and talk about the race for governor, because Attorney General Rob Bonta, who was publicly considering jumping in the race for governor, announced this week that he would not, in fact, be doing that he will be running for re-election as Attorney General of California. He says that he's convinced that if he got in the race, he would not only have a good shot of winning, he believes that he would win the election and become California's next governor. I'm not buying any of that. What do you make of his decision to stay out of this race?
You know, if memory serves, the trial of his big donors in Oakland, the Dong family, I believe that starts in April. And former Oakland Mayor Sheng Tao, I think they go on trial in April. And The ballots mail out for the June primary May 1st. So it might have been the timing of how bad that would look. Even if he's completely innocent of any wrongdoing, and I'm not saying he is innocent of any wrongdoing, but even if that was the case, it's going to look very bad when that trial starts and his major donors are involved in this bribery scandal, for which he was interviewed by federal authorities and spent almost $500,000 of campaign money to pay lawyers to help him respond to those questions. It's going to look really bad, and it might be really bad. So I don't think he ever had a chance with that kind of baggage to be elected governor.
Rick Caruso has not publicly stated which office, if any, he will be running for this year. Do you believe Rick Caruso will be jumping into the governor's race?
It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like he's terribly interested in state issues. He speaks very often about Los Angeles city issues and, with great knowledge. But I haven't heard him really talk about the state budget or the state homelessness policies or water or agriculture or energy policy. He mostly seems to focus on Los Angeles real estate development related issues. And if he's going to get into any race, I would think it would be the mayor's race, but I could certainly be wrong. He has been very cryptic about his plan.
And the best run big city in California is arguably the city of San Jose, where San Jose's mayor, Matt Mahan, is a Democrat, but a Democrat who almost exclusively focuses on state and local issues and has a lot of good ideas on how to improve the lives not only of the people of San Jose, but the people of California. He wants an audit done pronto. He wants to root out the waste, fraud, and abuse that's going on right now in the state. He was one of the leading advocates for Proposition 36. He is also one of the strongest voices against this wealth confiscation tax that the SEIU is pushing. Do you believe that he will jump in the race?
Well, I don't know. He might. This is starting to remind me of the recall election, where a lot of people can get into it at a very low entry fee and raise their political profile, and maybe speaking engagements or book deals or run for something else in the next cycle. I think this is looking to a lot of people like a wide open race where they're going to get some media coverage. And what's the harm if they jump in? Because there are people who are in this race who don't seem to have any chance at all of winning, but they're not getting out. And that's what I think it might be, that it's free publicity.
Susan Shelley, columnist for the Southern California News Group, host of the Howard Jarvis radio show, which airs tonight on KABC in LA, KSFO in San Francisco, and we will be appearing together at the Pineapple Hill Saloon in Sherman Oaks this Friday between noon and 3, collecting signatures for your effort and the efforts of the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association to protect Prop 13. So if you're in the San Fernando Valley, come by and watch us do the show live, sign the petition, have a patty melt, have a drink, have a good time, and kick the weekend off right. Susan, thanks so much for stopping by, and we'll see you in the Valley on Friday.
Thank you, John. See you Friday.
800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. If you want to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, we're going to the Valley on Friday.
It's coming up in just a couple of days. This Friday, the 16th, from noon to 3, we're going to be broadcasting live from the Pineapple Hill Saloon and Grill in Sherman Oaks. Angela Marsden's going to take great care on that beautiful back patio. Great food, great drinks. We'll be there with Susan Shelley from the Howard Jarvis Taxpayer Association. Because the courts have made it easier to raise your taxes, we need you to come by and sign the petition to save Prop 13. You can save yourself some time by printing out that petition and signing it now by going to saveprop13.com. But we'll see you Friday, noon to 3 in Sherman Oaks. Be there.
800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. And right now it's time to open up the California Crime Blotter.
It's happened yet again.
I see. Time for the California Crime Blotter.
And Randy, there's a theme to today's blotter. There's a lot of copper wire theft going on.
Especially in Mar Vista, on the west side of Los Angeles, where neighborhoods are shrouded in darkness because of incompetence. For more, here is Fox 11 in Los Angeles.
Other news tonight, copper wire thieves have plunged a Mar Vista neighborhood into darkness. Entire neighborhoods are without streetlights tonight. Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf is live on the scene. Matthew, the latest?
You know, it just occurred to me as I walked around 3 major European cities over the holidays, Dublin, Amsterdam, and Madrid, I didn't see one streetlight out.
Is it only me, or does everyone else think about Charlie Murphy when they hear darkness, too?
Well, it is incredibly dark out here. Many residents forced to walk with flashlights. Elliot will show you. It looks like a black hole behind me. And then this is the street light that's out right here. All of the street lights are out in this block, and this is happening all over the city. Another night, another Los Angeles neighborhood plunged into darkness. This time, Mar Vista, thieves ripping copper wire from dozens of streetlights, leaving residents in a blackout.
Really don't know what happened.
This has been going on pretty consistently for, 4 or 5 years now, and we still have no solution for this?
No, because the population in Los Angeles rather sit in the dark than take these people and put them in jail.
Really don't know what happened. It was like much better 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, and then suddenly it's dark all the time.
Roughly 4 blocks now look like this, with people forced to walk with flashlights or struggle to see at all.
Trip hazards. You're walking down the sidewalk, you don't see something.
I wonder how many slip and fall lawsuits that the city settles every year you can directly connect to the fact that there was no lighting. Because, yes, the city is super liable for that.
You could be super old school and just use a candle.
And then all of a sudden a shadow looks different.
What, you walk around like Ebenezer Scrooge?
Why not?
And then all of a sudden a shadow looks different, you trip and fall.
The copper inside these poles sold by crooks looking for quick cash.
And I thought we have all these new laws that's supposed to go after the people buying all this copper wire. You know, the recycling shops and smelters and junkers around town. How hard can this be? Those are registered businesses.
Well, clearly it's not working because every time you turn on the local news, all you hear about is copper wire theft.
Neighbors left vulnerable for more crime.
I think there was a house that was robbed here recently. I know there's a security guard that walks around, but I mean, that sounds pretty...
Even the security guard can't see. It's dark.
Pretty bad.
These thieves work fast, popping tops off of light poles, running all the cables out, and then they're gone in a flash.
At least weekly, we have new reports.
Oh, it's Tracy. Tracy wants to do something about this, but she's outweighed on the city council by jackasses like this.
You know, let's criminalize catalytic converters. Let's criminalize copper.
I think she loses every vote 12-3.
At least weekly, we have new reports of locations where our wiring and infrastructure has been tampered with.
City leaders have a relatively new heavy metal task force to target the copper crooks.
How's that working out?
Heavy metal? What do they have, Metallica on the case?
They've had dozens of felony arrests already. These wires have all been tampered with and cut through. As you can see, of course, the lights are out.
Just one damaged streetlight can cost taxpayers upwards of $2,000, and across LA, there's hundreds of them.
And it takes months and months and months for one of them to get repaired.
And what's wild is the only people who look at this and recognize that it's totally ridiculous are the tourists who are visiting here from other places.
I'm telling you, we got the, to use the way she says it, World Cup coming in 2026, the Super Bowl in 2027, and the Olympics in 2028. International tourists are going to laugh at how disgusting Los Angeles is.
Well, how are you supposed to kick a soccer ball if you can't even see it?
To see these, bands of criminals coming out and picking apart and stripping our infrastructure, making our communities less safe and costing us millions of dollars every year is incredibly frustrating.
Do you remember when the LA City Council was putting together their budget for 2026? And one of the things that Karen Bass asked for was millions of dollars to fix all the stolen lights on the 6th Street Bridge. And LA City Councilman Budget Chair Bob Blumenfeld said, "Are you sure you want to do that now if this is an Olympics project? Because if we fix them now, they're just going to get ripped out again before the Olympics."
And he's not wrong.
In and out of blocks in Mar Vista, it's hard to see as residents wait for lights to come back on.
You can see a house ahead of you, and that's it.
Check Zillow when you're not busy today. Just see how expensive Mar Vista is. And what exactly are those residents paying for?
Darkness.
Residents, unfortunately, will need to be patient because it can take weeks for city officials to fix these lights. Reporting live tonight, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
Really got the idea there how they steal that copper wire. All right, Matthew, thanks so much.
Yes, we showed them exactly how to do it. So any entrepreneurial criminal out there watching Fox 11 knows what they can do to get some quick cash, and no one's going to bust you for it.
It's so easy to do. You can do it even when you're on meth.
Just watch out if they're underground, because those are the ones that will electrocute you, like that guy in Pomona.
We're better off without them. All right, Randy, it's time to reopen the blotter.
If the cashier is dummy.
We couldn't make this stuff up if we tried.
I said, hell no, baby boy. Let me get up on out of here.
It's the California Crime Blotter.
And Randy, this one also involves the theft of copper wire.
If you think this is just an LA problem, it's not. It's increasingly becoming a Sacramento problem, because whereas another place where you can get a lot of copper besides streetlights, oh, that's right, all the infrastructure used to power light rail, like SAC-RT. And what do you know? SAC-RT was down yesterday because of stolen copper wire. All the money that's going towards all of this infrastructure for public transit, specifically light rail trains, is going right down the drain, because that's where they're stealing from. I point this out because it is so funny. When the VTA went on strike last year and it finally got settled, it took them 2 days to start up service again, because while they were on strike, copper wire got stolen.
Well, the money's not going down the drain. It's going to meth.
It was like chaos. Everybody like scramble.
Boy, the man on the street interviews are just solid across the board in 2026.
Chaos. Everybody like scramble.
What kind of accent is that?
I don't want to pontificate.
It was like chaos. Everybody like scramble.
But I need that. It's going on the wall. Everybody scramble.
She could be of the Asian persuasion?
It's possible.
It was like chaos. Everybody like scramble.
I can go for some eggs right now.
One by one. I was trying to get to the social services office, but I realized that I was not going to make it in time, so a little frustrating.
My friend called me up. I supposed to be at her house like 45 minutes ago.
Stories of delays are being shared at this light.
Wait a minute. You think that was a hookup?
Could be.
Maybe that's why she's so upset.
Friend called me up. I supposed to be at her house like 45 minutes ago.
Story.
That's a booty call.
Stories of delays are being shared at this light rail station on 16th Street in Sacramento.
I'm like an hour or 2 hours late to work.
This is the state capitol.
And that poor man couldn't get to social services. No food stamps for you.
I'm like an hour or 2 hours late to work. I was calling my, hey, like I'm not going to be able to make it. So they're like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow.
What is he, a pitcher for the A's?
I'm like an hour or 2 hours late to work. I was calling my, hey, like I'm not going to be able to make it. So they're like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Apparently someone stole some copper wire piece. And so there were delays.
A copper wire theft disrupting operations on Sacramento Regional Transit's Gold Line Monday. The transit agency says vandalism involving copper wire theft is a growing challenge.
It's just a challenge. The millions and billions that we keep investing in public transit. What's going to happen when we actually start laying down the electricity and all the infrastructure for high-speed rail and that gets stolen?
Well, just think about this for a second. The people who have literally fried their brains on drugs are outsmarting everyone in positions of power.
In 2025, SAC-RT recorded 49 incidents.
That's just in Sacramento's rapid transit.
Each incident costing on average between $10,000 to $20,000. But a new partnership with the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office is hoping to change things. Lieutenant Morgandi says they even made an arrest for a different copper wire theft on December 26th.
Yeah, but how many of these incidents have we had within the last 3 weeks?
You know, that's the reverse Santa Claus. Instead of bringing gifts, you take the copper wire.
The nice part about us being involved from the get-go, again, you'll have the full investigative weight of the sheriff's office behind it. So we're very confident, like we made an arrest back in December on that earlier theft, we'll make one here.
The sheriff's office took over security services for SAC-RT on Sunday.
A lot of the proactive stops and everything you see on the street, you're going to start seeing at RT. So a lot of the looky-loos, a lot of people hanging out that shouldn't be there, whether they're on the bus, they're at the stations.
Yeah, but it's not like they can hide this stuff in their pockets. These are massive things of wire. Pretty obvious who's stealing them.
No, this is the government just not wanting to put them in jail.
On the trains, you're going to see a lot more enforcement with that.
In addition to the new partnership, SAC-RT says it's adding more surveillance cameras, launching AI-powered drone technology, and is working to replace copper with less valuable stainless steel.
That seems to be the going trend now, is apparently you get the same conductivity and people don't need to steal stainless steel as much.
Yeah, well, guess what? You change out the copper wire for stainless steel, and then everyone on meth suddenly gets the Food Network, and they'll start stealing that too.
There's a lot of analytics that go behind the scenes. There's a real-time crime center. There's, like you mentioned, AI. There's camera systems all over the place that are looking for patterns and things like that.
What if they steal the copper to the cameras?
Don't give them any ideas.
Yeah, now if you're still wondering just how much this has costed SAC-RT, within the past year, they spent nearly $500,000 just on repairs. But again, tonight, that gold line is working right behind me. For now, we're live here in Midtown Sacramento. I'm going to spy Casey Ray for news.
Yeah, nice to see it back up and running again, Andres. Thank you so much.
And I'm sure it'll be down tomorrow.
How can anyone rely on these trains to get to work on a regular basis?
It was like chaos, everybody like scramble.
800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. During the commercial breaks, I'm looking at old videos of Ric Flair, and every single one of them makes me laugh.
Woo!
And I'm sending them to you too, Randy.
They are pretty great.
All right, it's time to reopen the California Crime Blotter.
It's happened yet again. It's Wild Wild West out here.
Dun, 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 dun. It's the California Crime Blotter with John
and Randy.
And surprise, surprise, this edition of the Blotter takes us back to the 7-Eleven.
Not an Oakland 7-Eleven. I think all of those are out of business, but one in the San Fernando Valley.
You in the mood for a Slurpee?
No. For more, here's NBC4.
This is new video after multiple 7-Eleven robberies in the valley overnight. Take a look at it. In the video, you can see a man jump the counter at a store in Mission Hills. NBC4 Investigates has learned
there has to be. I mean, for 7-Eleven to still exist in this day and age, it has to just be built in the price of everything, whether it's a slice of pizza, a cup of coffee, a Slurpee, that you know you're going to get robbed nonstop.
I don't know how they can get anyone to work there day or night.
I mean, I think we know.
If the cashier is dummy.
When McDonald's pays you $20, In-N-Out pays $23, and you decided to work at 7-Eleven for minimum wage with a gun in your face, I don't understand it.
Make better choices.
NBC4 Investigates has learned from law enforcement sources 2 men have been arrested. NBC4's Keenan Willard joins us live from that store. And Keenan, I understand you spoke to that store manager out there?
Annabelle, we did. They said it all came down to that security camera system they have here at this Mission Hill store, capturing everything in this scary scene. The manager saying at the end of the day, she's just glad neither the employees or customers were hurt.
Cigarettes, that's another story.
Well, that kills you over time. If someone shoots you during a robbery, that takes not a lot of time.
New surveillance video from inside a Mission Hill 7-Eleven around 11 p.m. Sunday. A customer seen checking out before someone with a gun rushes in and jumps the counter. forcing the clerk out of the way and taking money out of the cash register. Within moments, you can see them jump back over the counter and walk out of the store.
That is crazy. That is crazy.
Well, we're going to need that.
Boy, you're just going Easter egg hunting today, aren't you?
These aren't even the best ones. If we want to get to it later, the story that has the best drops, the best men on the street, is the one about how they're increasing the fines if you drive fast in a construction zone. I don't know why, but that one coming out of Modesto has the best men on the street. But let's get this guy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Welcome to the board, young man.
That is crazy. And I used to come, this is my place I used to come every day. So
let me guess. Modelo Chilada?
What, you're not going with fresh fruits and vegetables?
Mickey's Big Mouth? Old English 800? Pack of Pall Malls? People don't go to 7-Eleven to make good decisions.
No, they don't.
I'm surprised right now.
This 7-Eleven's at the 405 in San Fernando Mission Boulevard. The manager saying the thief made off with more than $600, but no one was hurt. LAPD tells NBC4 investigates this was the first of 3 overnight 7-Eleven robberies in the valley believed to have been carried out by the same people, including this store on Hubbard Street in Silver.
Now, do you think when they robbed the other In-N-Out burgers, including the other 7-Elevens, including in Sylmar, do you think they brought their Big Gulp with them for a refill?
Well, if they did, the ladies from Reseda would react to it.
No! I know. Including this store on Hubbard Street in Sylmar at 11:45, and then this 7-Eleven on Lankershim Boulevard in North Hollywood around 2 a.m.
Wow, they're really jetting around the whole valley. That's a vast coverage of area.
Do you think at 2 a.m. anyone pays for anything legitimately at a 7-Eleven, or all of the transactions are robberies?
Today,
I don't understand the business model of being open that late. How much money could you possibly be making?
I don't either.
Today, police sources told NBC4 investigates 2.
Did they say police forces or police horses?
Play that again.
Today, police sources told NBC4
Sources. Unless it's Mr. Ed, the horses aren't talking.
I swear I was on my walk this morning, and I had to do a double take. I'm like, did they say horses?
A horse is a horse, of course, of course.
Today, police sources told him.
It sounds like horses. You know, and if it was horses.
That is crazy.
Today, police sources told NBC4 investigates 2 men have been arrested in connection with the robberies. And the
Hey, that's new.
What'd they find on them? Slim Jims?
And the investigation remains open. Some people in Mission Hills saying the arrests are a relief.
You know, if California goes through with their plan to ban all ultra-processed foods, what exactly will 7-Eleven sell?
Just the cigarettes and lottery tickets.
I feel great because this is my own place I come. I don't want nothing to happen to them. So if I feel good for that.
Great. Whoever found that guy, gold star for you.
And we've also been hearing from some of those people who live in the other areas of the valley impacted by those robberies who are sharing a message of safety to some of their friends and neighbors today after these robberies. More on that coming up ahead at 4:30. For the moment, though, from Mission Hills, Keenan Willard, NBC4 News.
There you go. A string of 7-Elevens got robbed in the valley overnight.
That is crazy.